students, welcome back to the online sessions of the Material Science and Metallurgy. Myself Vivek Parikh, your orator, and in today's lecture we will be going for our next topic, that is known as in heat treatments of the steel. So what we will do in this lecture, that is we will go for some of the basic informations regarding this heat treatment of the steels. So starting with the first one, what we will be seeing that what do you mean by the term heat treatment? Heat treatment, it is nothing but the controlled heating and cooling of the metals for changing of their any of the physical and mechanical properties of the product. We know that each and every steel do not have the same properties from the beginning till the end. So what we have to do for changing the different types of the mechanical and the physical properties, we will be going for the treatment that is known as an heat treatment. So that is why we will be going for the heat treatments of the steel. Why only for the steels? Because steel will be maximum responding to the any of the heat treatment which is provided to them as compared to the different engineering materials. That means cast iron will not behave or will not respond much for this particular category. So for that reason we are taking, or it is maximum applicable on the steel. So you can see over here that the steels, they are particularly suitable for the heat treatment. Why? Because they respond very well to the heat treatment, and the commercial use of the steels, they are very much. So what we are doing, by giving certain of the heat treatments, we are changing the properties of the steel. Clear? So what we are doing, generally it is using the phase transformation. How the phase transformation occurs? The phase transformation occurs due to the heating and the cooling. So what will happen? By heating and cooling, we are doing for the changing of the microstructure. So what will happen? If you change the microstructure, automatically the properties of the material will change. And due to that thing, what is the effect? Due to the property change, you are knowing that the performance of the material will also be changing. Clear? So for that reason we are going for the heat treatment of the steels. So in heat treatment, the processing is most oftenly entirely thermal. That means by heating the material we are modifying the structure, and with the modification of the structure, properties and its performance is affected. So now the question will be arising, how we are going for the heat treatment. Heat treatment is done in the 3 steps. How we are going for the heat treatment? We are going for the heat treatment for the doing of the 3 steps. What is the first step? First step, that is the heating of the thing, heating of the steel. What is the second one? Second one, that is holding, or you can also known as an soaking. Third part, that is cooling. So all these 3 things, they are the steps of the heat treatment. First, heat the material. In whatever ways you want, you can heat the material. Convert it into its one of the ranges. After that, what you have to go? You have to always go for the holding. Why holding? Because what will happen, with the help of the holding, the whole material is transformed or is acquainted with that particular temperature. So for that reason we are going for the soaking or holding of the material. Otherwise what will happen, if you are heating the material after reaching that particular temperature, suppose let us take it as X. When you reach at the temperature X, what will happen? Only the surface is having the X degree temperature, not the core area of the material. So for that, so the core should also become X degree Celsius. For that reason we are going for the holding of the material. And after that, what you will be going? You will be going for the cooling. According to the cooling, you will get the microstructure, and the properties is dependent on it. Clear? So as the sample is in the larger size or the dimension, the holding time is more, cooling time is more, and the heating time is more. So the heat treatment is totally dependent on the dimensions of the product on which you want the heat treatment to be applied. Clear? So the graph also suggests you over here the 3 different steps of the thing. It is versus the temperature versus the time graph is shown over here. Clear? Okay, so now moving forward, that which are the objectives of this heat treatment. So now let us see the sum of the objectives. The very first objective which comes, that is to relieve the stresses after the cold working. If you are going for any of the cold working step, That means forging, rolling or any such type of the operations if you are applying on the material, then there are certain stresses which are developed inside the material. So to remove that certain stresses, because what will happen, the stresses will affect on the properties. It will deteriorate the properties. So for that thing, to improve the properties, mechanical and all properties, you have to always remove the residual stresses. Majorly the strength is affected with the help of this residual stress. So it is important that we should remove this residual stress from the steel, and it can be easily removed with the help of the heat treatment. Clear? Let us move forward for our next, that is the objective, that is to improve the mechanical properties. Which properties? Hardness, ductility and shock resistance. You might be knowing what is this shock resistance. So if you go for the shock resistance over here, what does it indicate? The shock resistance. Why? Steel, they are the most material absorbing of the particular shock. So the shocks are very much absorbed by the thing that is your steel. So to improve that properties, it is our basic requirement. So that's why the shock resistance should be increased very much. Hardness and ductility is also there. That's why steel is one of the major engineering materials. So to improve these properties, we will be going for the heat treatment of the steels. Third one, to modify the structure. How we will modify the structure? With the help of our cooling. How we are cooling? If you go for the rapid cooling, the different microstructure will be getting. If you go for the slow cooling, then also the different microstructure will be there, and moderate cooling, then also the microstructure will be changed. So depending upon the microstructure, or you can say the structure, you will get the different types of the properties. So it can be modified with the help of these heat treatment processes. Next one, to change the grain size. Whether you want a harder, or you can say coarser grain, or you want a finer grain, that is totally dependent on the heat treatment. So according to the heat treatment which you are applying, heating and cooling will decide which type of a grain, that is coarser or a finer grain which you are getting, that is dependent on the heat treatment. Clear? Last one, that is the microstructure desired. As I told you, depending upon the cooling rate, we are getting the different sorts of the microstructure. That is martensitic, pearlitic, bainitic. These are the different microstructures which you will be getting after the heat treatment. So we can change the microstructure of the material also. So that means it will help for the different properties of the material. Clear? And then that is to eliminate the residual stress. When your material is cooling, solidification is going on. At that time, there are certain forces which are there inside the material, and that stresses which are remaining inside the material, that type of the stresses, they are known as residual stresses. They also deteriorate the property. Residual stresses and the different types of the stresses which are there. So to remove that stresses, it is the most important thing. So it will also becoming as one of the important objective of the heat treatment, to remove the residual stress. Clear? So if you are removing the residual stresses, automatically what will happen? Automatically your object, whatever the product you are having, it will improve its properties. Clear? So these are the different types of the thing, that is the different objectives of the heat treatments were there. So after that, we will be proceeding further with our most important type of the diagram, that is known as a time temperature transformation. The short form is known as a TTT diagram. What do you mean by this TTT diagram? Time temperature transformation. Why or for what reason we are going for this diagram? You have already gone in the earlier chapter, that is an allotropy of an iron. There was one diagram known as an iron-iron carbon equilibrium diagram. Okay. So what was that iron-iron carbon equilibrium diagram? That diagram was the diagram in which we were having all the diagram at an equilibrium position. Is it possible equilibrium position in our normal day-to-day life? No. Because wherever iron and steel, they are subjected to our environment. Do environment change? Yes, they do change. The temperature fluctuation is always there during the whole day. So what will happen? Your diagram of the iron carbon will also shift towards right and left during the whole day. So for that thing, it is not the feasible possibility. So to remove that thing, and there are certain microstructure which were unable to explain in your iron carbon diagram. So for explanation of that thing, we will be going for this TTT diagram. And the third one, your iron carbon diagram was not able to give us the information regarding the cooling. If you cool the material in a different ways, that what will be the effect on the microstructure, that was not been explained by your iron carbon diagram. So I gave you the objective behind this TTT diagram, why we are going for this TTT diagram. This is the basic motto which is there for construction of this TTT diagram. Clear? So now, for going for this thing, let us proceed further for this TTT diagram. Okay? So now, what do you mean by this thing? That is time temperature transformation. So we will be going that at which temperature and how much time, what does your steel behave? That means how does the transformation in the material occurs. So there is a relation between the time and temperature. If we change that, what is the effect of that both the changes on the transformation? We will be correlating it in this diagram. Okay? It is giving you the kinematics of the isothermal transformation. So let us suppose take at a particular temperature, what is the changes which are occurring inside the material or the sample of the steel. For that thing, what we will be going? We will be going for studying of this TTT diagram. It shows the relation between the temperature and the time taken for the decomposition, or you can say when the transformation starts. What will be the transformation? How does the particular transformation takes place at the different temperature? What will be the microstructure at the different temperature and time? So that thing, that relation, we will be getting it from this TTT diagram. Clear? So how does this thing? It will give you the access of the how the austenite phase is going to be taking or decomposition of the austenitic. What will be taking it with the help of this heat treatment? That relation is the major. We have told you that what are the objectives of the heat treatment. In that there was one thing, that change in the microstructure. In this TTT diagram, we will be showing you that each and every steel we are hitting it above the particular temperature, that is into the austenitic range. After hitting to austenitic range, when we go for the cooling, what will happen? Your microstructure will be changed. So that decomposition of the austenite we will be studying in this TTT diagram. Clear? So this was your TTT diagram, and it will give you the information regarding the changes of the austenite to the non-equilibrium condition. Means we are not giving you the equilibrium. Why? Because that was the major disadvantage of your iron carbon diagram. And the standard view of your TTT diagram that is shown over here. So you can see the different types of the phases. Over here, this range above 700, this dotted line represents the recrystallization temperature. Over here, there is an austenitic range which is there. This thing, pearlitic regions, this is your magnetic region, and at the bottom you can see the martensitic region is there. So when your sample is there for the cooling, if you go for the austenitic range, how you go? Suppose you have heated the material up to this thing. If you are going for the slow cooling, what will happen? The temperature is reducing with the help of the much more time. So you can see over here the graph, my line goes to the pearlitic region. So what will happen? Pearlitic phase will be there. So, but if you go for the rapid cooling over here, you can see if you go for the rapid cooling, it will directly come to this martensitic range. So this way, how you are going for the cooling and what is the change in the temperature, that can be followed with the help of this TTT diagram. Clear? So this TTT diagram, we will be studying it in a more detailed version in our next upcoming lecture. So till then, thank you, and in this lecture we have already gone through what is the objective of the heat treatment, why steel we are going for the heat treatment, and some basic concept of our TTT diagram. Why there is a need of this diagram, that we have seen. Clear? So in our upcoming lecture we will see the construction of this TTT diagram, and one more thing, that is the critical cooling temperature transformation also we will be seeing it in our upcoming lecture. Till then, thank you.